Okay, so today we're making a pumpkin. My littlest one wanted a PGA Masks character, and there are no stencils available. So I'm going to do a video on how to make it. I downloaded a picture of her character that she wants done. Normally I would get an existing black and white or stencil photo if I could, but it doesn't exist because the show just came out a couple months ago. Take that, take the Sharpie, run over, make sure you leave breaks for everything to hold together. I mean, you can see it on the back. If you look at the back, it's kind of going to show you what it's going to end up looking like. Okay, so the tools you're going to need, you get one of those pumpkin carving kits at the store. They come with these nice scrapers for scraping out the guts. They've got these saws with the serrated edges, and they just tear through a pumpkin like a dream. Usually I cut the profile on the outside. I like to leave a nice square. That way you don't have to spin it and figure out which way is forward and which way is backwards. So when you scrape the guts, if you're doing real fine details, the thinner the better, but then the thinner the skin that you leave, the longer the faster it will deteriorate. Right, so you take your stencil, you put it on the pumpkin. You know, I like to cut it so that I get it to try to lay as flat as I can. It's never perfect. You know, getting it close usually works pretty good. You know, I'll cut and remove little pieces of the stencil, anything to make it sit flat. Then you go in, usually those pumpkin kits have a poker. You go through with the poker and you start poking holes along your stencil lines. Maybe one every 32nd of an inch. That way, when you remove the stencil, you'll still be able to see the dots. You're not poking very deep. You literally are just breaking the skin as you go along the stencil. All right, let's go. So now you see it, I've cut out a lot of the pieces. When you remove the stencil, you see these dots here, and those are your outline for your cut. I started it in the middle first because of the fine lines. I figured those would be the weakest, so I started in there first and then moved my way to the outside. A lot of times I'll do eyes last. I've already done them. Every time I do this, and I've done this a lot of times, you start to feel like, oh, is it going to look good when you're done? And you know, you start to worry about it. You know, even when you have little mistakes and stuff, and it pretty much always looks good as long as you know, made some effort into it. You know, these little saws, they cut through this pumpkin like a dream. Sometimes you get a little worried, like, oh, I can't, you know, see anything through there. Maybe I need to see more light. You know, I'll go in, don't really break the skin, but just shave the inside of the cut a little bit and break some free. Don't torture the dog on video, please. And you can kind of shave a little bit out without changing that profile. So a little bit more to go, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so here the pumpkin's finished. I stuck it in the bathroom because it's the darkest room in the house. I'm not sure how the video is going to deal with this, but let's turn the lights off. And there we go. Usually I would do the inside with petroleum jelly to preserve the pumpkin for as long as possible. But today is Saturday, Halloween's on a Monday this year, so this thing's just got to last 2 days. And those fine cross lines near the wings, I'm kind of hoping that the pumpkin will dehydrate a little bit and those lines will widen out and be bigger. So no petroleum jelly this year. Anyway, that's it. Give it a shot. I'm telling you, those little saws are amazing, and you know, you should not have to push very hard to get the pieces through. And if a piece is giving you trouble, you can always cut it in half and push it through. You know, if you're doing it right, you're not using any strength whatsoever. Anyway, that's it. Bye, guys.